be key. It'd be interesting to see how the Swiss settle in to this one. And it will be Switzerland who get us underway with Betschart, the initial serve. And it will be Switzerland who draw first blood.
Beautiful hit right there by Betschart. It's all about tough serves. In the beginning, you really want to challenge the other team service-wise. Don't just give them free balls. Give them something to think about.
Schützenhofer going through the Hüberli block to give Austria their first points. It is a fantastic setting, this Red Bull centre court. Betschart just about keeping it alive and draws a full-length dive out to Schützenhofer, who can't keep it alive.
Beautiful shot right there, looking like she was in trouble. End up going completely cross court. Austria kind of left sleeping there.
It was her only real option, wasn't it? Because the ball was so near the antenna, it was only ever going to go cross court.
Yeah, as soon as on defense, when you see that ball go outside the antenna, you know it has to be cut angle to keep the ball into play, and so you have to make the adjustment. But if you're not ready, you get caught. Switzerland looking good right out of the gate. That is Betschart on the right side. You see that she's getting a lot of action early on. That may be the strategy of Austria to keep that on Betschart.
Oh, that didn't miss by much. There's the signal from Schwaiger as to how she's going to play this defense.
Yeah, it's very important for the defender and the blocker to communicate. That's why you see those hand signals behind their back, showing whether you're going to take angle, whether you're going to take line. You don't want to usually double up on the area, but sometimes if someone has a tendency to do something, you might block that same direction as well as play defense there.
So Hüberli, the jump serve, goes to Schwaiger. A little change up here from the Swiss going to Schwaiger.
Austria trying to kind of feel it out. As you mentioned, Charlie, this team playing on center court every single time. It's a huge advantage because it's hard to track the ball where exactly it is going to end up when you have a big crowd as a backdrop. Sometimes it's very difficult, especially when we're seeing a lot of jump floaters these days out of the players.
Betschart floats it. Schützenhofer kept alive. Oh, cute. How cute is that from Betschart? It's about the only thing she could do.
Hüberli up at the net. Great joust situation. Somehow keeps it alive. And then it's Betschart with a smart volleyball IQ, knowing that the defense was deep.
Here she is with a jump serve, excuse me. And she reads that one from Schützenhofer, and she's going to have to. Oh, it's just long. She just missed it. That was an opportunity.
Betschart, just 21 years of age. You know, she won under 21 gold in the youth world championship, so she knows how to make it happen.
And she won it twice, didn't she, in successive years. The block. Partnering the other Swiss team in each year. Partner Johanna Heidrich in 2011 and Anouk Verger-Depré in 2012.
Of course, Anouk Verge de Prey and Joanna Heinrich, now teammates. Cross. Really smart shot right there. Up at the net. Schwaiger knowing exactly how to put that ball down. Betschart tries to make an attempt, but it's just a little too late. Really sneaky shot right there. Really disguised well.
Yep, good work. Side switch number 2 sees the advantage doubled from 1 to 2. Also, a belated happy Swiss Day for those Swiss fans here and tuning in. August 1, National Day in Switzerland. Touched.
I thought that ball was a little too tight, but somehow Schützenhofer able to get it off the left hand right there of the block. There's a great look at the replay. There's the hit. It just hits that left forearm.
There wasn't a great deal of space, was there, between the left arm and the antenna?
And you can see these two teams very equal. The 10th seeded Switzerland and the 12th seeded Austrian team. Unfortunate that you have two really top teams going at it so early in elimination rounds, but that's what happens in pool play.
It's long.
That ball just outside that back line by Betschart.
Yes, you're talking about the two seeds close together playing here. Well, the Swiss did nothing wrong. They won their pool, Pool J, but the Austrians lost their final matchup against Kolosova and Kapilova of the Czech Republic, who were seeded 13. So either way, you were going to get a very tight game here.
Yeah, when you win your pool and then you face a number 3 team in another pool, you just never know who that's going to be. And there's so much parity on the tour that you can run into these really high-level matches in the first round.
Oh, good get from Hüberli. Schützenhofer's turn to play well, but then she's out-muscled at the net, kept alive, and it just was going further and further away from them. It was almost tantalizing for Schützenhofer, and in the end, she just couldn't get it back in play or over the net.
Check out Hüberli up at the net, sealing the line, really pressing and controlling, making sure that she's not used out of bounds. And give a lot of credit to Austria, scrappy play, groveling, trying to keep it in play, but unable to control it.
So, timeout called. The Austrians trail by 3.
See the graph in the left-hand corner there. That's the runs of points, and both teams doing a really good job. Austria has yet to get 2 points scored in a row, and give a lot of credit to the Swiss. That is not easy to do. Trying to stay cool. Everyone's got that ice, and you put it on the back of the neck, and they say that that's the quickest way to cool down the body, on the back of the spine, back of the neck. And so you see most players trying to get any type of relief that they can, with temperatures up in the high 30s, around 37 today here in Vienna.
That's in the shade, of course. Scott to Schützenhofer, who goes cross court.
Schützenhofer reaching high, and it's going to be a challenge all day long for her to get past that block of Hüberli. Remember, Hüberli 6'3", tallest player on court.
Betschart finds the winner, and at the technical timeout, Switzerland lead by 3. Good play from Betschart. Well, as the crowd got a cooling down, much needed. You look down from the Millennium Tower across the centre court. So here is the serve placement from Switzerland, and it's pretty much straight down the middle, trying to split the defence.
Yeah, right there you're seeing all those balls grouped right in the middle. 89% of the serves going down the middle. That means they're probably not sure who exactly definitively they want to serve. They want to go down the middle, maybe cause some confusion for Austria, and that's usually the sweet spot. We've seen so many aces right down that middle pike, and it makes the reception team really communicate and pinch in the middle. And so far, Austria has been doing a decent job receiving.
Let's see where this one goes. To Schwaiger, but it was very central. So Schwaiger cuts, and that's a well-controlled cut. So easy to not give it enough and it drop into the net, but not Schwaiger here.
Keeps her elbow up nice and high, contacts the ball high, and that results in that really sharp cut.
Schützenhofer, almost impeded by Schwaiger there. She stopped and went again, and it was that stop that cost her.
Ripped by Betschart.
Just there, she just put her hand up, didn't she? I don't think she would have made it anyhow.
What great hustle, though, by Schützenhofer. Really laying down. Look at the sacrifice as she just kind of peels out at the end of that long sprint.
Good blocking.
Big block up at the net, Tanja Hüberli. She's been making some really solid moves, causing all sorts of problems for Austria. And that's been a big difference, that net play, the net space being owned by Hüberli.
Another chance for Hüberli. And the Austrians still to win more than 1 point in a row in the match.
Yeah, it's just incredible to be able to hold them to just 1 point at a time. Usually a team, just by an errant mistake, will get 2 in a row. But Austria being controlled right now by the Swiss, Austria needs to start taking a little more chances.
Had to be a soft play from Schützenhofer because the set was quite close to the net, and Hüberli fancied her chances.
Yeah, anytime that ball is set too close to the net, you have a choice. Do you challenge the blocker and get stuffed, or break out a kind of smooth finesse shot and go around?
Here's the chance for 2 points on the bounce, and they get it. So, Austria break the stranglehold temporarily.
And Austria has so much fight in them, they're not going to give up. Especially when you have this wonderful crowd behind you, really bringing it.
They thought about it, it was in. It was a great shot. Right onto the corner of the tape.
Here you see Tanja Hüberli up and over the top. The defense is right there. You see Schützenhofer in the right position. She just decides to let that ball go, and it's the wrong decision.
Great piece of control from Betschart. Now can she finish it off? Yes, she can.
Wow, Betschart right there. Really making transition look easy, and she just blasts that set. Hüberli putting her up at the net. So good. Look at the control as she rips that ball right down the middle. 72.85 kilometers. One of the fastest hits that we've seen in this match.
She's going to have another chance here. This one a little bit more control, but almost exactly the same. Schwaiger does well. Advantage still with Switzerland though. Hüberli to finish it off. Missed it by a long way. And there you see the advantage. Just get the ball back in play. You never know what might happen. Make your opponents play. One more shot, three more shots.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Even though you are at a disadvantage, you just try to keep that ball inbounds, and then you set up your defense, and you never know when the opposition's going to give you a point. Hüberli right there makes a big mistake, gets underneath the ball, and then kind of waffles it long and out of bounds.
So Schwaiger at 13-17. She'd dearly love a point on serve. Goes to Betschart. Boy, she gets lucky, it's still alive. But they can't get it over the net. Betschart, fortunate.
Really love the hustle and the determination by Schützenhofer and Schwaiger. Just really going for it. Look at that attempt. How many times have we seen Schützenhofer lay it out in the sand and sacrifice? She's going full speed on every play. You'll love to see that.
Block, lands in.
Tanja Hüberli up again at the net, completely controlling the airspace. The 24-year-old, so effective, playing in her 6th World Championship.
Oh, well read from Betschart. This for 7 set points. Again, she gets very cute with the shot, and it comes off.
Noticing there's no block at the net. Both defenders are waiting for a power hit. So what does Nina Betschart do? She just rolls it short. So smart.
Straight onto the serve. That's it, Schützenhofer. Oh, that is an excellent play from Betschart. This for the set. She's missed it.
Seen that a couple times. Betschart as well as Hüberli hitting balls out that they should not hit out. And sure, they might be getting away with it right now, but they're going to have to clean that up if they're going to advance to the next round.
Another attempt. And this time she takes it. And a comfortable first set win for the Swiss. And we mentioned it in terms of points won on serve. The Austrians winning just 1 point on serve in the set. They only had one run of 2 points. A phenomenal job by the Swiss, and that's why they've won the first set 21-14.
And that goes to show you, Charlie, just winning 1 point on serve. When you lose 21-14, it's somewhat of a beatdown. Look at that domination. Switzerland 3-0 in blocking, 17-8 in attacks. They're dominating from just about every angle of the game.
So here we go. Spike attempts.
Spike attempt for the Swiss, not blocked 64%, blocked 36%. And you're seeing the different variations all across the net right there.
And 2/3 success for the Swiss. As the crowd get involved. They've got a long stint here because there's an Austria against Austria men's match up after this, so it's going to be a good couple of hours in the baking sun for the Austrian fans. Right, here we go, set 2. Schützenhofer and Austria will get it underway, and they need a good start here. And it comes off the net onto Schweiger's back and lands on the sand.
If you're Austria, you're thinking to yourself right now, we just need to settle down, This is our home. This is our arena. This crowd has come out to see us. Now just take a deep breath, receive, serve well, and have some fun with it. And there it is. Schützenhofer ripping that ball cross court. I always like to say you need to have that short memory in beach volleyball. Forget about what happened in the first set. Come out here and establish yourself.
Yeah, good block from Schwaiger. Yeah, it's interesting you say that. In their last pool match against the Czech pair of Kapilova and Kolosova, they lost the first set 31-29, a real marathon set, but they came straight back, won the second 21-13, so they put that disappointment behind them and came out all guns blazing. They're going to need a similar performance here. Again, set too close to the net, but improvisation from Betschart levels it up.
Yeah, the longer you watch beach volleyball, you start to realize the players that are able to forget the last play, leave the last play behind, and not allow streaks of points to be given up. Those are the players that are most successful.
Adrenaline pumping. Hüberli sends it long, very long. Power from Betschart.
Betschart just looks a little bit too strong offensively. And they've just kind of continued to enforce their will against Austria. Give Austria credit, though. They're hanging with them here in the second set.
Good block from Hüberli. It rolled along the net, and that's what happens when you try and be too cute with the cut shot. We mentioned it a little earlier. Sometimes you don't put enough on it. Betschart has been excellent at it there. Schwaiger just comes up a little short.
You know, give a lot of credit to Hüberli there with that initial block over the net, giving Austria a second opportunity. That's in your head. You're thinking that block is up there. I got to cut it a little sharper over the net or at a better angle, and it goes into the bottom of the net.
Schwaiger had to go early because of the set.
Now this is a good over on two opportunity. Fortunately, she goes for that deep corner, and it ends up being the right shot.
Red by Schützenhofer now. Can she finish it off? Nope. Betschart is there, and she'll have a chance to finish it off, but she fires it into the net.
Uncharacteristic right there by Nina Betschart. Usually with an open net, she's going to make you pay, but not this time. This ball gets hit, blocked, right back to you.
That's a very strong serve from Schwaiger. Yeah, 4 errors for Betschart in the match from 16 attacks. Couple long, couple into the net. Wow, one service error follows another. Hüberli with a Laura Ludwig style service action.
Yeah, a lot of players have that action. There's no real approach. You just kind of do a little squat and toss that ball straight up. I think by taking out the approach on the serve at times, it makes for a flatter serve and more movement on the ball. Here, a nice little roll shot by Betschart. Betschart just has so much command. Now she has a little half-step approach before she does her jump float serve, and that ball ends out.
That's 3 in a row.
Just
service errors.
Yeah, that's not going to get it done. You have to keep that ball in bounds.
Finds her range once again, Betschart. 7-all at the second side switch. The second set seemingly a little tighter than the first.
Yeah, I don't know if the answer for Austria is to serve Betschart. She's been really on top of her game. There is Hüberli with a nice ace serve. That jump float's sometimes so hard to track.
Well, we saw from the graphic earlier that they like to go down the middle, and you said, Dane, you know, just create that uncertainty, and right there, it did just that.
Yeah, little indecision, that's all it takes, because you have to make a split-second decision. And so many service errors, and it just kind of kills the momentum. When things are happening for you, do not let the other team off the hook.
Good spike. That is threading the eye of the needle, that, isn't it?
Yeah, call that hitting the ball down the alley, right between that left arm of the blocker and the antenna. And so much room for error that time, pinpoint.
Missed. The opportunity was there, just over hit.
So now the Swiss starting to make their move. Slow separation, and I think Austria has seen enough. They're going to call a timeout.
Well, they called a timeout at 11-8 in the first, and they've called it at 10-8 here. Didn't do them much good in the first set because it went from 9-8 Switzerland to 21-14. So they won, you know, 2/3 of the points, 18 points to the end of the set, and Switzerland won 12 of them. Austria just 6. They're going to be hoping that there's a timeout here, but then they'll be back on the bench very shortly for the technical timeout.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting strategy there. The successful blocks, Switzerland 3-1 over Austria. But you're right, calling a timeout so close to the technical timeout seems a little odd. But maybe...
Well, I guess the issue is, if you call the timeout now and they come out and they find their rhythm, 3 points in 3 points time, they're going to be back on the bench, aren't they?
And that's why it's a little bit peculiar, but you got to go with what you feel. And if you feel things are getting out of hand, you got to stop the bleeding as soon as possible. This is about the point in the match where Switzerland took off last time.
Good block from Hüberli, but the advantage still. Well, there again. This time it's Schützenhofer who's got the block in the mind and tries to get too cute on the cross court.
Yeah, and you'll never see that in the stat book. A blocker puts up some intimidating blocks and then it starts striking fear into the offensive player. They start missing shots, and it's all due to that block.
They've just got in each other's way there, the Swiss.
That's where communication really comes in. This looked like a play that the Swiss could make, but you want that error there. You want both players going for it rather than both players going the opposite direction.
Serve to Hüberli, and it pays off. And they go to the technical timeout, just one behind, rather than 3 that they were in the first set. So a good timeout by Austria. They've stopped the rot. They've won a couple of points, but can they keep the momentum up after this technical timeout? Well, time will tell us.
Great timeout for Austria. Gotten themselves right back in now. They get another time to rest. That ice on the back of Schützenhofer right there, getting any type of relief. Both of them with that ice, getting some fuel, clean out the eyes, get ready to go. These timeouts and breaks are so quick, you kind of have to maximize your time.
So here is the Austrian spike direction. And as you can see, they don't like going down the line.
Yeah, most of it going cross court. See that one error down the line. The majority, most hitters are comfortable going cross court. Why? Because you have the most distance to err, and that's kind of the meat of the court.
Just getting in each other's way. It's funny, it's almost mirroring, isn't it? You see one service error follow another, and then a communication error with the Swiss, and a little bit of a communication error here from the Austrians.
Yeah, it's okay because all these communication errors are trying to be a little too aggressive. You have trouble when both players are running the opposite direction.
What a point! What a point! Switzerland take it, but that was extraordinary beach volleyball right there. Everybody just looking at each other, working out what's gone on here. How about this?
Betschart laying it out, somehow keeping it in play, and right there,
Just out.
Schwaiger. Wish she could have that one back. Using the net, using the equipment to the best of their ability. Schwaiger looks like it's going to be in. Nothing that the Swiss could do but watch, and they are elated that that ball ends up out of bounds.
Service error.
After all that, you give the ball right back without the Austrians having to do anything.
There have been 11 service errors. 8 service errors in the match. As here on the stats, the Austrians have just had 1 service error in the match.
You want to play the percentages. Sometimes you approach a match and it's all about getting the ball inbounds. Other times you want to put a more aggressive approach when you're serving. And I would recommend right now that Austria turn up the serving, maybe risk missing a few serves, because that's going to put more pressure on the Swiss. And so far, I don't think the Swiss have really been pushed. Beautiful set. Up at the net, Schwaiger to Schützenhofer.
Tactical serve up low. That is super hands from Betschart. How she's kept that up, but the advantage with the Austrians. Oh my word! Betschart creates that point, somehow keeping the ball alive. Have a look at this. The reaction time is phenomenal.
Gets that left hand out, and then a nice free ball by Hüberli. Gives herself time. She decides to block angle, and look at her jump into the angle at that last second, and the fist pump says it all.
So, 15-12. The lead for Switzerland.
Hüberli and Betschart, everything happening, and they did the same thing in the first set. Started to pull away when it got past that midway point. No different. There's a little clip of the top of the net on the serve, throws the Austrians off, and right now, no answers for the Swiss play.
Cross court from Schwaiger.
Schwaiger so good at this shot. Shoulders going one way, and then she goes wrist away across the court for yet another winner.
Schützenhofer from a long way behind the service line. Oh, again, great hands from the Swiss. They really see the ball well, don't they?
Swiss are just one step ahead of every single move that Austria seems to be making. Right there, a good block by Schwaiger, and Hüberli is right there to make it happen. Tanja Hüberli, the 2014 FIVB Most Improved Player, continues to improve year after year in this championship, looking so strong.
Betschart gulping down the air. Sends the serve to Schützenhofer. This time she can't keep it alive.
I really like the play, though, of Schützenhofer of Austria. I think she's one of the scrappiest players I've ever seen out here. And in just these 2 sets, you can just tell that she goes all out every time. It's inspiring.
Set. It's wide, but the touch from Schützenhofer gives the point to Switzerland, who are now just 3 points away from a place in the next round, and a match-up against the very impressive Canadian pair. Off the block of Hüberli. Yeah, the very impressive Canadian pair of Pavan and Humana Paredes, who in turn were very impressive in the match before, knocking out Barbara, the defending champion, and her new partner, Fernanda. Line the call, line duly delivered, and it's now or never for the Austrians. They need points, and they need them very, very quickly.
Austria's just run into a case where the team on the other side of the net is playing at an extremely high level, not making a lot of errors, and Schützenhofer gets one back for Austria. You know, they're right within striking distance right now, but it's going to take a solid block or a good defensive play, but they're going to have to score some points while serving, which has proved very difficult this entire afternoon for Austria.
It's in, and so there are 4 match points for Switzerland, the first of which will be on the Hüberli serve. She's having it again, Hüberli.
Schwaiger right there getting the best of Hüberli. Finally a little joust up at the net. You know, Hüberli has been owning that net, but this time it's Schwaiger who gets the tip to the back court, and point for Austria. So there's a good look at the joust. Hüberli, nice cover, but it unfortunately for Hüberli goes on top of the net, and Schwaiger knows exactly how to get the kill.
Okay, well, the Swiss have just called a timeout as they prepare themselves for this final push. But talking about points on serve and how hard it's been, on 3 occasions they've won 2 points on serve, Austria, in the whole match. But once in the first set, twice in the second.
Yeah, you're not going to win a match doing that for sure. You have to score more points. Remember, in beach volleyball, chances are when you're receiving serve, it's about 75% that you're going to win the point. So the team that can hold reception, but then score some points when they're serving by getting a block or playing great defense, that gives you the advantage. And as you've noted, Austria cannot score when they're serving. They just haven't been able to do it. You just said it 3 times the entire match. That is not going to get it done.
So here is match point number 2. Hüberli for the match, kept alive. She went up to celebrate. She's got to do a bit more work. Now she can celebrate. And Switzerland silenced the Red Bull Arena here on the Danube Island, because they've beaten the highest seeded Austrian women's pair in straight sets, 21-14, 21-17. Always a little bit of rivalry between Austria and Switzerland, and it's Switzerland who are celebrating here.